Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jillian. I wanted to put up these pictures for you to start my presentation by showing you 15 of the most prominent entrepreneurs in the 21st century. What can we learn from them? And everywhere I go, I hear people say that the youth are our leaders of tomorrow. But you tell me, can you spot a young person except for Zuckerberg there? I think that with technology, it is high time that we actually change that to the youth are our leaders of today. Why do I say that? 15 years ago, the most sought-after professions were doctors, engineers, sports people, maybe bankers, lawyers. And that is why it took quite a long time for people to really get to that position of success, to that level of being branded a 21st century entrepreneur. But today, with technology, it's become so much easier for us to actually say that the youth are the leaders of today. These are just 6 of the top young entrepreneurs that I have picked out randomly, who just last year alone have been awarded Young Entrepreneurs of the Year. They have all done something extraordinary using technology, and of course, being highly successful and also keeping a work-life balance. I speak at many schools and universities, and I'm always asked that one key question. How can we achieve our dreams? And how can we start to do it right? And I can tell you from my own personal and humble experience that I have done some research in this area. And I have tried and tested this method by researching and looking into some of the lives of these 21st century entrepreneurs and what they've done in order to get to the top. The first thing that they've done is that all of them have always, at some point in their careers and in their business lives, have reached rock bottom and have managed to stand up again and fight and persist. Almost all of them have invested in human relationships. And of course, all of them have worked very, very hard to get to where they wanted to be. Coming back to my own story and to why I have the privilege to even stand in front of you today. So I was just 11 years old, maybe 10, when, like each one of you must have a dream. You must know or feel some desire of what you want to do and who you want to be. For me, it was always a desire to want to help hundreds of people. I always had this desire to want to go and help the aged and help the children and just give people a chance in life. That's all I ever wanted. So I wrote a book on my own life story. And that's my mother in the middle, and that's me on her shoulder, and my little sister in her arms. We lived under a flight of stairs for a very long time. We were totally homeless, poverty-stricken. And the only thing that were our friends were vermin, and you name it. We moved on. Those are my parents. That's my sister Vanessa, who you just saw in my mom's arms in the middle, and my little brother, Neil and Susan. Those are 4 of my siblings. We moved on from under those stairs to living in a proper slum. But to give you just an idea, 3,000 people shared 3 toilets. More than 3,000 people. There was hardly any electricity, no water. We had to fill water from a tube well. There was no food. And we just managed from one day to the other. Forget about sanitary conditions and anything like that. It just didn't exist. And if any of you wish, you can go onto my website, the name of the book, Indian English, thebook.com, and look at documentaries. The place still stands to this day. But I found the strength to actually interview for a job in banking. And I remember being interviewed for my first job with 250 girls. And I was given a pen and paper at the door and said, "Take a seat." And I thought to myself, I have to bring up my 2 little siblings. I have been a mother at the age of 8. I have to get that job. And I worked through, and we came down from 250 to 150 to 75 to 50 to 3, and I got selected. Such was my desire and need, not just to want to survive or to help my siblings, but to also fulfill my own dreams. It was at these banks that I was taught some of the greatest lessons of my life. But all 3, as you will notice, kind of boils into one, is that there is no substitute for hard work. And I was willing to do whatever it took to make the grade and to fulfill my dreams. At every bank, I took on 2 roles. And sometimes they even joked with me. They said, all you need is a sofa and a bed, and this could be your home. You don't have to worry about going home. But I was willing to do that. These are some of the businesses I own. But let's ask you a question. Have I really fulfilled my dream? My dream wasn't to own any businesses. My dream wasn't to be a speaker. So have I fulfilled my dreams? The dream that I had when I was a 10 or 11-year-old girl? Well, today I have 6 teams of people who work 24/7, as you can see, for the aged, children, for the youth, for the disabled, for women in need, and so on. And we work reaching out to hundreds of people who need us. I'm going to share some quick images with you. So these are pictures of the 6 study centers that we now have for street children. And these are mainly children whose parents are bricklayers. They are put at the side of the road in the blazing heat and the freezing cold. And they're just left there all day while their parents just work on building sites, etc. We take these kids in, and we give them a proper education, meals, and anything else that we can afford. We help many of the aged. Some people can hardly even stand up straight. We have another team, and on the 8th of December 2016, I just launched the National Speaking Academy in India because I want to give the young, underprivileged girls and boys and the youth a chance to find their voices, to find a way to achieve their dreams, to give them the confidence and the knowledge or the feeling that somebody cares. We work with the disabled, and my own sister heads that team. And we also, of course, help very, very many women who are in dire need in various conditions, including education. So my story was picked up by a Hollywood producer, Cyrus Yavna, and a director, Jack Shoulder, and is currently being turned into a Hollywood production. But if I were to be asked, what is innovation and development? Innovation has been around since time indefinite. It has always been there to quench the insatiable wants of human beings. And so has development. We've always strived to do better and better and better. If we get to X, we want Y, and if we get to Y, we want Z. But what we have to remember is that we are all just living organisms at the end of the day. And we are here to fulfill our own individual potential. So if we think of what these 21st century entrepreneurs taught us, they taught us to be persistent and never to give up. They also taught us to never forget to invest in human relationships. No computer can ever do the job of a man. We need to remember these things. So what I'd like to leave you with is that if you, as you go out into the world, and you can remember just these 3 basic principles that I have learned, and I have chosen to share these with you today, I am 100% certain that whether you are a consumer or you choose to be a creator, you will always be successful. Thank you.